All right, welcome to now the fourth video. Okay, now I'm going to be talking about the actual block diagram, and I'm going to continue from the previous video. So this is actually now, I had a pseudocode previously. Now I want to actually write the code, but now not the actual code. I'm going to write the flow diagram. Okay, so I'm going to have start. At start, this thing is going to open your main function. Okay, when it opens your main function, it's going to open your high score, open high score text file. After opening the high score text file, what's going to happen? Read data and then save it into variables. Save it into local variables. Okay, so but I'm going to actually define this as initialize. I'm going to define this as initialize. So basically what must happen, you start the game and you initialize. Okay, but here you read data, you save into variables. Now from there you're gonna go there now and instantiate objects. Okay, instantiate objects. What I'm saying is that create objects. Okay, after creating them, you're gonna go there and define initial conditions. Define init conditions. So, and these objects can be anything. These objects can be like I said, the game is made out of like black dots. It can be a dot. Okay, a dot, and that dot object might have like a position, the x, y position, and it might have a number which maybe describes the name. Well, you can identify like a dot by a dot number. Maybe it's like, you know, dot number 1 is some number, some integer number. Maybe like the number is like like I said, like, okay, the first block, the first dot is like the first dot, and the second, like, you know, going towards the tail. So like the number increases as you go towards the tail. It can be the dot, okay, and it can be food, and the food can be can come in different shapes and sizes depending on what you're doing, blah 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 blah. Okay, so those are like the example of objects I'm going to create in my snake game. And then now I'm going to create the object, and then from there initialize this. Okay, I'm going to initialize this. Okay, I'm going to initialize the x and y position of the dots, so that like when you actually open the play, the snake should be at a specific position. Okay, all right. Define initialize. That's basically what I was saying here. Initialize x and y. So initialize position. All right. Okay, so read data, save into local variables, and then from there initialize your objects. Okay, and this whole thing I'm gonna call it initializing. Okay, now from there I'm going to have play game. Okay, and this is going to be something interesting. So now I'm going to describe like general game requirements for the game. Now the first thing that I'm going to have a while loop, a while true. This just tells me loop here forever, but then I'm going to leave the while loop. Basically, it says loop forever, meaning stay in the while loop forever. If I say true here, and there's no condition that can be ever be false, or a variable that can ever be false, it's going to be true forever, meaning the loop will continue indefinitely. And the only thing that can stop the loop is what? It's a break. It's a break statement. Okay. So I'm going to have a while true, meaning loop forever. And this is what will actually control our refresh rate. In this case, I'm not going to be actually defining the screen refreshing rate. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to allow the while loop based on the computer speed to control the while loop. I'm to control the refreshing rate. You'll probably have a delay at some point. Okay, you'll have a delay at some point, and then they'll control the speed at which things are refreshed in your screen. So, but what happens in the while loop is that in the while loop, this is where everything happens. You're going to read, you're going to display, you're going to make all decisions based on what's happening, because at this moment your game is playing. Okay, so think about it like this. While true. So the first thing you want to implement here is that draw objects on screen. draw objects on screen 1. Okay, you draw objects on screen, meaning you're drawing your snake, you're drawing your food, you're drawing everything on screen. And what that actually means is that, okay, fine, because you have initialized the positions, go to the objects, loop into them, read the actual X and Y positions, use those positions to print to a specific position on the screen. So basically that position plays a circle or plays a dot or something. Okay. Now 2, draw on the screen. Now everything is drawn on the screen. From there you'll have a delay, maybe 1 millisecond. And this is for controlling speed. This is controlling the FPS. But like I said, this will be based on your computer speed. If your computer is faster, this game is going to be faster. If it's slower, this game is going to be slower. So basically, for you to maintain a constant refresh rate, you must probably have a variable in there and then control it or change it based on the computer speed using, like you can use, okay, I'll talk about that later. And there's a way in which you can trick the computer to actually, or trick the game to operate at the specific speed that you want it to operate at, okay? So, but that's like an advanced topic. So, but here I'm going to stick to this, delay this for 1 millisecond. 10 milliseconds whatsoever. Okay, but I prefer 1 millisecond for now. Then from there, after drawing on the screen and delaying, now what you want to do, you want to check for game conditions. Game conditions. So in your game conditions, one condition you want to check for is 1. Now here I'm going to have a list of if statements. Now I have if food has been eaten. Okay, fine. If food has been eaten, snake must grow. Snake must grow. Fine. Okay, if no food on screen, place food. Like I said in the previous video, place food on some position, but not on the snake. Okay. Food must be eaten if no food. Okay, so if food is eaten, no food. If snake hits a wall, okay, that means if the position of the head of the snake is equal to the position where the wall is, exit game, and show game over and show the high score. Okay, that's the if statements in the game. All right, this is a nice example game because it's very nice and short. Game conditions. From there, you're going to have system conditions. Well, these are still game conditions, but this is like the game itself. So, but this is like the actual game. So I'm going to have game conditions 2. Game conditions 2. Now, I'm going to be talking about inputs and outputs. Okay, fine. Inputs, outputs. Okay, fine. Now, you check. If input, maybe you're going to have an input variable. If some input variable is equal to the variables we described in the previous video, I said up is a letter. Let's say, for example, we define that up. Again, I'm going to just say it for one last time. Let's say we define up. I define up to be y. I define right to be j. I define left to be g. And I define down to be b. Okay. If in is equal to any of these letters, move the snake in that direction. That means move the snake in the direction. Basically, increment based on this. So this will actually delay the speed at which your snake is moving. But anyway, here, if in is equal to this specific variable, now change the direction, meaning, okay, increase up or increase down or increase something. Okay, so yeah. Or maybe you can just say, because this is what you can move. You can say this, the head, okay, this is how you can actually make the snake to move in a direction. You will say, okay, fine. I have a snake, here is a snake. I have the head and it will have that, eyes and the mouth and everything. So now if you press up, the snake, this must go up, but this must follow this position. This must go to the position of this one previously. This must go. So basically what will happen is that this, after we can go here, this will go here, this will go here. So basically every one of the sequential positions follows the previous one, meaning this will follow this will go here, this will go here, this will go there. So but the head will actually change the position based on the input. Okay. Nice. I mean, this is the nice way of making a snake game. All right. And from there, okay, game conditions, IO conditions. If you press that, this will happen. Okay. Now here I'm gonna have if food is eaten. Now play a nice sound. Play a nice sound. Nice sound. Nice. eating sound. Okay. Yes. Maybe you're gonna have pause and play. If pause is pressed, pause the game. Okay. If and pause can be some letter also, maybe it's P. And if exit is pressed, which can be E as well, well, exit the game. Maybe you're gonna just have say break. It'll exit the game. Okay. Yes. So here you've got game conditions. We check the food, and here you've got game conditions. And if food is eaten, basically, increase the score as well, because you're gonna have a score. So increase the score, and then probably like play. You can actually put this if for eating food there as well, saying play sound and do stuff. Yeah. So here, draw objects on screen, game conditions, and then these are game conditions number 2. But these are more like system conditions. Okay. Yes. So now you have your game conditions. Okay, so but now, don't forget, what if none of these conditions is true? What if it didn't hit the wall? What if there was no food? What if there's nothing happening? Now, on a normal idle state, if the snake didn't eat anything, it's just moving across the screen, okay? Now you must have functions, control functions. There's no if here. So just control functions that keep the snake going. The first control function is going to be, oh, okay, fine. On every delay, move the snake in that direction, meaning move the head in the same direction which it was moving. So the snake will keep on going linearly, or let me say the head specifically, it will go linearly to the direction in which you defined. Okay. Move in this direction, meaning just go there. Okay. That's basically it. And what you're going to do here is just to change the X and Y positions of the objects you created here initially. So change the X and Y positions of those dots. Okay, so yes, that's basically it. And I can't think of any controls right now. I mean, this is like idle state. I can say idle state. Like when nothing is like if none of these things happen, I mean, what must happen? I mean, it's not like if the food is not eaten, the snake must move. I mean, so basically change the position of the X and Y positions of the game. And this is basically, I mean, this is a general flowchart, but given an example of a snake game. But basically, you can use the very same flowchart to write any game. You should write on screen. You must control your FPS either by using signals or by using interrupts or by just using delay if you don't want to be like too technical, okay, and too well precise, and have like game conditions. Here you're going to control your game conditions like, well, if whatever happens, this must happen in the game. And from there you're going to have game conditions number 2, which is system. Okay, if input is this, if output is this, move the snake, if this is that. If you play, I mean, if you press play, exit. If you play, pause the screen. If this is pressed, do this. Okay, these are like game conditions number 2. It's like those things which like the game needs, but it's not part of the game. But if you press pause, it must pause. You know, you understand? And from there, and then from there you're gonna have like another one, control. So here, what must happen in idle mode? Must the snake move? What must happen? Okay, so far there can be more things which you can add here. Okay, but in your game or in your program, let me say it's game specifically, you will actually always have a while loop, which I always call a game loop. So it's a game loop, and this is where your game is playing. When your game plays, it loops over this, and because these things are refreshed at a very fast speed, your game almost look like things are happening instantly. Your objects move like everything happens almost at an instant, but not really instantly, but almost at an instant. Okay. So in the next coming videos, I'm going to be showing a few code examples for how to instantiate objects, okay, and how to create classes for objects like this, and how to draw on the screen, okay, and well, control, for instance, okay, of the snake game. But then basically, I won't be like going to the whole game. I won't code this whole game, but I'm going to focus on most important like parts of the game. So you guys should actually comment and tell me what you think is important for me to add, but not the whole game. Okay, so maybe like how to read a file. I'm gonna place this, how to read files from this input. Okay, how to instantiate this object or create the classes, create class, okay, and instantiate. Okay, then from there, how to draw an object on a screen, how to draw object, this is very important. Then from there, game conditions are simple, and from the control, this also is simple. So I'm going to deal with drawing objects on the screen, okay, reading from a file, and also initializing your objects using OOP. So you should be, I mean, if you're looking at this video, I mean, you must be good with Java by now, and all you want to do is to actually just build a game, you know. So good luck with the game development. I mean, well, your game can be robust, okay, fine, it can be really big, so, and really like high resolution kind of games with like really cool features. But then this is for a basic game, Snake, and it's gonna be a 2D game, so I don't need OpenGL. So, but anyway, I mean, if you're good, you're good. But then something very important, like on draw object on screen, I'm going to use the class std draw, okay, and we're going to make our own file here for storing data. Like I said, it's called highscore.txt file, and then under int object, I'm going to initialize the object myself, and this class we're going to create this class ourselves. So own creation. Okay, so perfect. So far, I hope you understand like the basics of like software, you know, development and how to create a game. So, well, I mean, this that I'm going to explain further from here are actually like Snake specific, or maybe just like specific things which are actually really related to this game. But like for any other thing that you need, you can post, and I can actually like I mean, you can comment, and I can actually post like a short video on how to access some files or how to do some things. All right, so perfect.